race. So I'm going to take you on a day in the life of me while I just live nomadically, work remotely, and prep for a one-wheel race. So it's a pretty interesting way to live, and I've grown to enjoy it. Obviously, I've been growing pains, and my setup isn't beautiful when I give you a tour, but I'm happy with it, and it's been working out, and it's been cost-effective versus buying a bigger setup. But yeah, let me get started with work first, then we'll start to give you a tour.
Connected.
All right, so what I did next is I talked about this cafe that I wanted to go to show you all my favorite little cafe close to Passion Play that has this awesome breakfast sandwich and some decent espresso. And then I was going to take you for a ride there and for a ride back just to show you the area. But I messed that up and I kept it on time lapse. So we lost all that footy except for when I'm riding back from the cafe. So we'll drop in right there. Good. All right, I'm headed out from Basecamp. Actually, the ride here, I thought I was filming regular, but I was filming time lapse. So let's show you the ride back to camp. right, finished with work for the day. It's about like 1:32-ish. I'm gonna make up the rest of the work throughout the weekend while I'm charging. But yeah, I work as a software engineer. I actually really love it. I love technology and I love building apps and all that, and it exercises my brain and creativity in the right way, and it keeps me nomadic and remote. So I love that. But yeah, let's give you a quick tour. Just a real quick one, just as things kind of lie. Things might be a little bit messy, but that happens while you're traveling and living out of a very small setup like this. So yeah, let's start with the kitchen. So you got my spice rack, my oils. Generally, I'll either use gas if I'm not plugged in. If I'm plugged in, I use my hot plate. Under here, that's where my trash is, my dry storage and stuff for like my mopping and all that. Down here is just extra storage for random items. Like this is like my toiletry bag, some of my cleaning items, some of my dog stuff. This is where I keep my hot plate. It's kind of a mess down here. My pots, pans, all that. These are my plates, as well as this is how I microwave food. There's a lunch box that I like plug in, and then it'll heat food over time at about 40 minutes. But that at itself is actually probably under there somewhere, but you cover it with this item. Dry goods here. You can see I just recently moved here, but things moved around quite a bit, but that's where I keep my bowls, my cups, all that. And then more dry goods here. Pretty unorganized at the moment. I kind of just arrived last night. And then the dry, bigger goods like chips and my powders and stuff. This is what I have in the morning for a quick meal. And then sometimes I'll make eggs. And then my fridge, it's pretty small. Right now I just got some buchas and a couple random items, chicken and all that. And then this is my main fridge, which is actually set to 40 right now, but it froze over when I set it to a freezer because I took a big slam and I needed a way to hold ice. So I'm trying to thaw it right now, but yeah, that's where most of my items are. This is where I keep my power, my hose, everything I need. I got a 30 amp hookup on here, so that works pretty good. That's my dog bowl and his dog food. And then I have his extra food in the car. And this is where I store the dog. Now this is where he hangs when it's hot out and I don't have my awning set up yet. Eventually I'll have a shade structure set up for him. Then I got my Starlink. And this is how I get my main source of internet for work. I have a lot of meetings that I need to have stable internet for, and just general like working, coding. I need to be able to get fast access to the internet. And then also I do a bit of gaming. I got a PS5, I have a ROG Ally, and I used to have a gaming laptop. So that's how I keep in touch with my friends. You know, if I'm in a really like rural, remote location, it's nice to get online with my best friends from, you know, way back when I was real young and play some games together. All right, let's go inside. Oh, last thing, I got a solar panel up top. And that's if I'm totally boondocking, I'm able to get lights, keep the fridge going for at least like 8 hours or so, and get a way to charge my phone, but I can't use my outlets when I'm generally just connected to that. And that's why I actually set up a solar panel here. And then I have actually 2 deep cycle batteries in here. And then I also have it connected to the alternator when I don't have enough sun and I need to just charge it while the car is driving. And then I'll actually connect from my inverter to my setup, and I can actually run games, my laptop, whatever I need to do. I just can't run obviously the AC or anything like that. But what's cool is this guy actually has my propane tank that's in here, a big one, so I can actually get heat if I need. I just can't get AC if I'm boondocking. Looks like clouds are coming in. It's getting windy. Let's get inside. All right, this shows you what it looks like when I'm currently using it. So I have this set up basically as a desk, and this guy's on a swivel. Move it however I'd like. This is my pretty dope Skull Candy music box, and I'll practice my DJing out of it, or I'll just play lo-fi music while I'm working. This is my 2K monitor that I'll either game on or work on. And then I have, these are my PU setups for while it's during the day, and then it flips and I have kind of, you can see there's some wood paneling that's kind of all connected together that I just spread out across here to make my bed frame. And then I just scoot these out to make my bed, as you I think saw during the beginning of this video. And then I do have also a porta potty, which I only use number 1 in. For number 2s, I always make sure to stay somewhere where I can get access to that. Like here, they have public bathrooms, or I'll stay near a Planet Fitness or a friend's house. or near a gas station that doesn't mind people using the bathroom. That's the one stipulation with this build, is I don't want to poop in here because that'd be pretty nasty to clean out. It'd be pretty smelly and I couldn't keep it inside. So it's nice to have a discreet way to use the bathroom if I'm boondocking or I'm just propped up somewhere in a real public place. And this is where I keep my electronics, and like that's where I can get access to the cups from the back and my dry goods from the back. So I can get access to all that. This is my closet where I keep my bedding. Then you got extra storage up here. Then my espresso setup that I can't go without. And then this is where I keep my jerseys, my towels, all that. This is where I keep my shoes. And then this is my like everything drawer. Huge mess right now. And then you got socks, underwear, and then I'll keep one of my laptops here while I'm traveling, or it goes in my backpack. And then you just got more clothing, more clothing. That's basically it. And then obviously just various external storage up top. I need to get better about organizing that. Same thing with up here. And then my medals for inspiration. Then this guy actually works. I just don't use it a whole lot. It's only 1080p, and I'm kind of a snob about having high quality monitors and TVs and all of that. All right, so that's that. Now I'm gonna go and hit the trails, and I'm gonna go work on them a bit. I took a pretty massive slam about a week ago and got really hurt. Thought I was gonna break a bone. I had to check my body twice. I was pretty nauseous after the slam. I've been kind of taking it easy. I'm pretty wrapped up, as you can see. The past week I've healed quite a bit, feeling good, but now I want to go and groom the trails a little bit better. People are going to start showing up for this race in about like now until Thursday, basically, and I want to help however I can make them better and safer. So I'm gonna go do that, and then that'll help me warm up my body, and my knees been a bit stiff since the fall, and then I'm gonna get out and actually shred the trails. All this left side of the trail is just full of leaves, and they kind of, right here is kind of where it chills out, and the main trail is back on, but I really want to clear out this left side so you have more of a line choice, right? Because it's also just, it hides some large, fist-sized rocks, so when you're pushing it, sometimes you accidentally go into the leaves a little bit because there's such a narrow line until I clear this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm sure they're gonna do it anyways if I don't do it, but probably not for another couple days, and a lot of riders are starting to show up, so I wanna show my own support and clear it out for everyone so people don't get hurt before race day. All right, now it's time to check out my handiwork. It took a long time, probably an hour, hour and a half, to rake all that for a 20-second part of the trail, but it was pretty needed because basically half the trail was covered in leaves from it tumbling down from the left side down from the uphill, which made it really, really narrow, so you didn't have many line choices. So yeah, let's check it out. So it really depends on what I'm gonna eat, if I'm in a time crunch or not. Generally, I cook chicken stir fries with like rice and veggies and all that, and then I'll leave that in the fridge for me to reheat later. But right now I'm out of that, and I don't really have time to cook because I wanna get some riding in before the sun goes down, since I had to work most of the day. So what I'm gonna do is I make Huel, which is basically a powdered, fully complete meal. Obviously it would be better to have solid food, but sometimes I don't have time for that. I do have the plant-based meal, but it doesn't fill me up as much as this one does. This one has more of the vitamins and, you know, the superfoods and all that. This one just has like more of like your daily diet. So I like this for nutrients, this for like filling. Probably my least favorite part is gearing up for one wheeling. Way back in the XR days, we just needed, you know, relatively chill knee pads, elbow pads, a helmet, and some like okay wrist guards. But as we got faster and the boards got better, we needed more and more gear. And I was a little bit resistant to that until I started taking bigger and bigger slams, and my gear started sliding down to expose my knee as I would fall, and I started layering gear to the point where now I feel pretty confident. Still sometimes the falls miss the gear, but I'm ready to go. And the biggest thing is like it just takes a while to gear up, and then you're feeling bulky. So like I'm not feeling as nimble. Like it's harder to warm up like my body and do all the stuff you need to do to properly warm up when you have all your gear on. What's that? I'm trying to match my times at race pace to see how I'm doing. We use an app to track that called Hermes, and yeah, just gonna give it a shot. too hot and like go over that rock there. So that's that. That's the day in the life of a Nomad camper, one-wheel racer, software engineer. Yeah, it's a little bit different when I'm prepping for a race and actually at the race area than when I'm just kind of living in town and stuff, or in a new area. So I'm gonna probably post another one of these, but more of like what it's like living in a new town, a new area, when I'm not actually at a race event. But I feel like it's cool to show what it's like when I'm prepping, but also having to work and stuff like that, and just live life and do normal things. But yeah, it was a beautiful day. It was a good time. So now I'm winding down, making some food, and I'm gonna play some video games.